Thank you, Josh, for those kind words. So, I've been intending to come to this alumni night for years, since it started. Something or the other always comes up. I've never been able to make it. And Stephen called me suddenly out of the blue a couple of weeks back. And probably the most important reason I accepted this offer was because it was named after Edison Daniels. And I'm going to be a little pedantic at first and take issue on your Excel spreadsheet which said the Edison Daniels lectures of life. He'll be very upset with the preposition used. I corrected that. So So I'll just say something academic first and then go on to something more more general, which will probably resonate with most of you. But whether we like it or not, when we grow up, we have role models, and we model ourselves on people. We look at all your life. You may think that you don't like them, but you're constantly modeling yourself, your actions, your behavior, your attributes, the way you speak, the way you behave on them. Okay? And there is a formal term for this in psychology called identification. It's the process by which an individual assimilates in part or whole the behavior, the mode of expression, and in general other attributes of another person. And if I were to take a vote today on who that person in Dover would be, I'm sure Edison Daniels will win hands down. Okay, so we've, most of us, and speaking for myself, and I didn't really realize this till I probably finished college and I started work, that because we were away from home, usually it's the parents, for children who stay at home and study, it's usually the parents who have a lot of influence on the way children grow up. But for us, for most of us, and definitely for me, it was Mr. Edison Daniels, and I thought the first half of my lecture should talk about the ways in which he mentored me and how I apply that in my work today. And I've taken about 6 or 7 points which I use today in my daily life. Whether we like it or not, people are going to start looking up at you. You are going to be mentors to other people. Whatever kind of position you are in, there will be not just children, other people who work with you, who work under you, who will look up to you, and they will take traits from you on how to get things done and how to live their life. And these are the things that Mr. Edison Daniels passed on to me, and I hope I will be able to pass on to people, including my children. Okay, Edison started teaching English in 5th grade, and I can tell you for 3-4 years, you would be in anticipation of your first English class with Edison sir. Okay, and the kind of teaching he did, when you joined 5th grade, you don't expect to be taught the alphabet, but that's what he would do. All of 10 years old, you go for your English class, he'll make each one of you stand up and say ABCD. Okay, and he'll correct your pronunciation then and there. H. That was the kind of commitment that he brought to teaching. All of his classes, you weren't wrapped attention, partially because when he whacked you, it really hurt. But I also think that he had the kind of flair to keep a class of 9-year-olds together. And that is really difficult. I have a couple of children. To keep their attention for 40 minutes is quite a task. And the second thing that I realized much later in life was that someone with his ability has far more value in today's world than in the place where he served. If I were running a school, and you guys are running a school, if I was running a school and I had to hire an English teacher, the kind of money I'd be willing to pay for Mr. Edison Daniels would probably be one of the higher, would be, you know, I would literally pay anything to get in there. And this man, he worked his entire life for very, very ordinary, simple children, you know, and he was committed to, you know, teaching them something. He felt that he had something he could give them, and he felt it was worthwhile and valuable to do that, and it was important to do that. And that kind of commitment is something that we can learn in our own lives and pass it on to others. Because we all individually have abilities that we can share, and all these abilities are valuable, and the world puts a value on it. But you can share it for a much better cause, and that's one of the things that he taught me. Attention to detail. I don't know, I think some of you, Shim and Simon and Stephen, do you remember this song, Dare to be a Daniel? And do you remember how many years it took us? Sir, I was just talking about his commitment. For every Sunday, he taught us one hymn, and in the evening one chorus. And this hymn, Dare to be a Daniel, if I'm not mistaken, it took him 2.5 years to teach us this hymn. And I've been trying to go through this music sheet and see which note he didn't like. Okay? So I think it is honor them the faithful. After faithful is the word faithful, because there your the note drops by one note, and we wouldn't sing it, and he wouldn't take it. So what he would do is, because faithful is one word, we sing it at the same note, but full is one note lower. And for 2.5 years, he taught this hymn. Every Sunday he taught a new hymn, and when that was done, he would come back to Dare to be a Daniel. We could get this done, and it was really frustrating. And it would be Dare to be, and he went on and on till he was happy that, you know, we'd actually got it. And that's the kind of attention detail in my line of work. It's attention detail is very important, because everything is fluid with time. Okay. You see a patient, 5 minutes later it's not the same patient, okay? You really have to pay attention if you want to pick things up. And that was something that he really passed on to me, and I try and, I am now on the faculty of my department, and we have about 15 trainees with us. So one of the things that I try to tell them and try to pass on to them is this thing, attention to detail, and to absolutely get it right. And not take anything less than that. Next thing is balance. When Sir had to be friendly, he'd be really friendly with you. He'd take you to his home on Sunday evenings for a chat. And then when he wants to whack you, you will hear the cane through the air. Okay. But that's not what I learned about discipline from him. The thing I learned about discipline from him was that when he wanted to discipline you, it wouldn't be an emotional outburst. You would know way before it that you are going to get it for this. Okay? So his rules were spelled out very clearly, and he dealt out discipline wholeheartedly without any emotion. Okay? And it was not linked to you as a person. He didn't make up his mind about you as a person based on what you had done. So when he had to thrash you, he'll thrash you. When he had to be your friend, he'll be your friend. I don't know, I think Shim will talk about corporal punishment in its place in the world, but I've tried to not use corporal punishment with my kids. Sometimes it's very tough. But in those days, I think it was the norm. And I think there's still a big debate about it. I don't think it's really settled. The debate on corporal punishment is settled. It is banned, but I don't think the debate is settled. I think there are people who believe that it should have a place. Anyway, the thing is that he had this balance between being a buddy and a boss, and that is something that is so useful today as a, not only as a surgeon, but as also a teacher. Skepticism. Okay? The man was an eternal skeptic. This is something that this is one of our clinical methods book had this on the page, before the forward page. From too much enthusiasm for what is new and too much contempt for what is old, good Lord deliver us. Okay, you have to question everything, but within reasonable limits. It's another thing that Teddy, like Stephen just said, he will not be easily impressed by anything. He will not be easily impressed. He is skeptical about even good things. But he will appreciate you if you do something well. And I've had my share of Stephen's moments with him, and they stay with me. I'm not going to list them out, but they stay with me, and he says, you're good at this, you should do this. You know, he'll come up to you and tell you that to your face. And that is another lesson that that is one outlook to life that I've imbibed. I question everything and I try and find an answer. We talked about nature. If you can find Elizabeth Kolbert's book, The Sixth Extinction, go through it. In the last 100 years, Kolbert. In the last 100 years, 20 to 50% of all the species in the world have gone extinct or are nearly extinct because of human activity. Okay? I know that Teddy's brother worked in biology. I think it was for a while at the crocodile farm in Chennai. I'm not sure whether he just trained there or he worked there. But Teddy's basic degree is also in biology, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. And zoology. He made sure he passed that down to generations of people. Sir used to come for the morning prayer, and sometimes the prayer would get over 5 minutes early. That's 7:25 in the morning, and then he'll walk back to his house, which is near the ground, and we'll be walking to the dining hall, and he will take you with him down Francis's house, what used to be Francis's house, to his house at the end, and he'll show you hoopoes and other birds, Brahmini kites, and a lot of birds would be foraging on the ground there in the morning hours, because nobody used to be there. And he'll do this quite ready. Any random boy he'll pick up. He's picked me up a couple of times. Sometimes it'll be someone else. He'll call, he'll just walk them down and say, look at that. And on Sunday evenings, he'll actually show you things. This is something I love. Most of these photographs are mine. I try whenever I have time to go out and take pictures. And it's something that I try to pass on to my children. And it's something that really resonates with all of us. Teddy taught us music, but it was not just music. I think we were children without cultural moorings. And I agree with what Simon said, that the first few batches and Teddy, they contributed to the culture in that place. And Teddy in big part, because my first memory of Edison is teaching the Seekers hit Morningtown Ride. I was 5 years old at that time. I loved that song, and it's not just the Seekers, but because you heard that music, you were going to go and find out more music like it. And that the whole genre of folk music from that time is absolutely close to my soul. There are a lot of people I know from SV and a lot of other people who love it, and I kind of love the people who love that kind of music. And what we got was, we were taken away from the culture of our parents, but we were moved in this different hybrid mixed culture, which I'm really proud of. Everywhere I've gone, I've been able to contribute so much because of my cultural moorings, and a lot of it is that legacy from Mr. Edison Daniels. I don't know if you can hear that.
Yeah. Is the mic good? Keep the mic on.
What song is this? A7 there, played high up. F sharp, F minor. chord progressions. Teddy had fantastic chord progressions. He wouldn't just end a song, he had to end it with a flourish. This is White Christmas. He wasn't happy playing C in the normal place, so he'd take it up the end of the stem, and then he'd play the bar D minor, and then he'd play A7. He'll play the D7th like an A7, so up. So that's what he'll do. With the A7th finger position, he'll move it up the stem and he'll play it there for that different sound. I was lucky to be a part of a band in college, and every time I did anything in music, Teddy was always at the back of my mind. And I absolutely adore him for that. And I'm sure that all of you do too. Okay, I said a lot of things about him. I don't think anybody said this, but Stephen, you said that his room had a low window, isn't it? But one of the things you'd see on Saturday afternoons is a guy in a vest and striped pajamas, kneeling down by his bed and praying. Okay, so he's playing Beatles for you, but he's praying there. And because I transitioned from SV into a very different culture in Chennai, a very materialistic culture in Chennai, and then I had to go and do medicine in North India, and then when I started my surgical residency, it was really tough. It was really tough, and when things got really tough for me, the only thing that helped me was to ask for help from the only person who provided. And I never thought about this way, but Edison sir to me was the guy who introduced me to the secular world. But he's also the only guy in SV I saw praying who I was impressed with. And that has really stayed with me. And I can't get this image out of my mind. So he'd be wearing his white vest like the one I'm wearing now. With all this, everything else showing, and striped pajamas. And he'd be that small, that cot there. He'd be kneeling down by that and he'd be praying. And his stage cot actually would be on the window and playing music to the... So you'd be listening to Simon and Garfunkel or John Denver, but he'd be playing behind that. It's something that I'll never forget in my life, and it's been really used to me. And these are the things that I use in my life, and I try and pass it on to the people I work with, the people who, my trainees and other people. So I want to raise a toast of gratitude to the man who taught me to say cabbage, village and vehicle, and quaff it down like Lochinvar. I really thank God, and I thank Stephen for this opportunity to come and talk to you guys. If this was not titled the Edison Daniels lecture, I wouldn't be here. And,